Oh, well, I guess I guess I should say good morning or good night or wherever you are. So much is going on in the world today. So much changes. It's hard to even recognize America with Donald Trump at the head of it. It's hard not to think that there is a plan to destroy America, especially because of the people that is in this administration. You see, I used to like Marco Rubio. I don't know what happened to that guy. What I realize is that you could like a politician because they stood on firm grounds for years. But the moment they see themselves getting a little bit more power, they'll sell their souls. That's exactly what Marco Rubio did because he was a Russian hawk. Now he's a Putin puppet. It's disheartening to watch what the Trump family is doing to America. They are taking everything from us. And it's not just them taking it for themselves, they're giving it to our enemies. Because I cannot be convinced that we don't have several Russian agents in this administration. Steve Witkoff, for one. Um, he's someone I briefly met. Steve Witkoff. He like women on the younger side, like Jeffrey Epstein, too. I can promise you that. Ask him about the little one that's driving his Bentley down in Palm Beach. She's she's Russian too. That little young blonde that we have down here in Palm Beach, she's Russian. See, a lot of people don't really know or pay attention to a lot of what's going on. I don't know if we will be able to recover if this man stay in power another 3 years. And JD Vance won't be any better because he's the puppet of the tech dudes. Right. And that side is taking over America as well. is now called the Tech Industrial Complex. And they're working together with the Military Industrial Complex. See, they make us think that our votes matter. It don't. Because they can spend billions of dollars to brainwash stupid people. To go vote against their own interest. And they spend a lot of that money in the red states, mostly in the South. The people who need the most get the least and continue to go vote against their own self-interest because they can't bring themselves to vote for a Democrat. Now, the Democrats aren't much different. In order for us to see meaningful change, we have to get rid of the establishment Democrats. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, a lot of those guys, they take money from big tech. They're owned by the lobbyists. They're owned by the pharmaceutical companies. These guys don't want to fix any of the issues that they speak about every 4 years or every 2 years, whichever election you're talking about, right? Republicans, they want to talk about the border every fucking election cycle, right? There were several chances to work on a comprehensive bill to solve the border crisis and so people could come here legally, like myself. And they all got struck down. The last one was bipartisan, and Trump said don't sign it. And what do you think is happening right now with ICE and the border patrol guards being used in our communities? It's not fixing anything. The border crisis will still be there. And what this administration will do, in the last year of his presidency, he'll just relax everything and let the immigrants start to flood the borders again. Then he'll say, see why we need ICE, see why we need border patrol guards, see why we need to be brutal. Start the problem all over again. And the Democrats, they don't want to make healthcare free. Healthcare cannot be free. But they talk about it. Education cannot be free. But they talk about it. We don't believe you. What you gonna use? What's gonna get more expensive? Our mortgages, or rent, or electricity bill, or car payments? What is gonna be more expensive if healthcare is free? And a free healthcare system will not work in America. America is already used to capitalism, right? They're already used to a market system where the people with the most money get at the front of the line. The people with the most money get the last of what's there. The people with the most money get the last of what's available. So if you got cancer and you ain't got no money and you in America and health care is free, the billionaire who got cancer gonna get ahead of you in the line, because that's how our system is. Right? The brutality that they're using to get these Hispanics out of here. Mark, I'm only feeling sorry for them because I'm human and I have a heart. Because I see so much of them here in Florida, almost all that I speak to. Vote for this man. They were down on the bridge at Mar-a-Lago every day. They were trying to get inside of Mar-a-Lago every day. They were at that parking lot opposite Mar-a-Lago at Bath and Tennis every day, shouting Hispanics for Trump, Hispanics for Trump. Now, I know it's not everyone, but the numbers don't lie, right? And the Haitians and the Jamaicans, I seeing a lot of Jamaicans here in Florida voted for this man. I'm Jamaican. A lot of Jamaicans voted for this man. And their families are being ripped apart right now. What you do? You think you could trust them? You think you could trust a man that have never been to a grocery store? You could trust a man who tell you that grocery is such a special word? He asks you what grocery is. You can trust a man who grew up around billionaires all his life. You can trust a man who bankrupted all his businesses. This man, if it wasn't for NBC, he would have been broke right now. NBC threw him a lifeline when they gave him that show, The Apprentice. That's what brought him back to life. He's in the White House. He don't have a plan. You think he got a plan? He don't have a plan. And my other problem is, this man, he talks so much about how Joe Biden was old and he don't know what he's doing, and that is true. Joe Biden is old, but so is he. He's not no spring chicken. He wasn't Barack Obama when he was running for president the first time. All the other presidents that are alive right now who left the presidency for years are still younger than the last two presidents. Make that make sense. Are you telling me that Joe Biden and Donald Trump is the best that America have to offer? Then why shouldn't the Chinese and the Russians attack us then? Because we're a country of old men. I think there's a movie called that. Oh no, the movie was called No Country for Old Men. That's what we should have said at the ballot box. Joe Biden should have never been president. He was too old. Donald Trump should have never been president. He's unqualified and he's old. But he was talking all that shit about Joe Biden and the order pen and they go and do an investigation. And this dude is there walking around in circles, falling asleep in meetings at the White House. He's looking ill and I'm not feeling happy about it. I'm not feeling happy about it. His family should be ashamed of themselves. His sons should be ashamed of themselves, especially fucking Don Jr. Because he's the piece of shit. Don Jr. and Ivanka, they're the piece of shit. The ones that you don't hear about, like Tiffany is a really, really sweet person. But they should be ashamed of themselves. They shouldn't have their senile dad trying to hold the entire world on his head while the world is falling apart. Every fucking conversation now, and 8 wars. I need what's that Nobel Peace Prize. Get the fuck out of here. For doing what? Trying to give Ukraine to your friend? For trying to give Ukraine to your friend? People don't understand all these trillions that you're talking about. Where is it at? Why are the farmers still struggling? Why are the people in Asheville, North Carolina that Biden had allocated money from FEMA for after that hurricane? Why they can't get their money? Why you freeze all that money for the green energy that the farmers were working on after they invested in it and were supposed to get their money back? You stopped it. You talk about you love farmers, just like you said you love cops, but you pardon January 6ers. Get the fuck out of here. How the fuck did we get this dude back in the White House? And I still don't believe he won the election. I still don't believe it. And I think Elon Musk and Starlink, I don't have the proof. I don't have any proof. But I think Elon Musk and Starlink have something to do with it. And for several weeks before the election, Elon Musk lived at Mar-a-Lago, and I mean literally, that's it where he was at, day and night. He was there before J.D. Vance came down. Because J.D. Vance came down just before the election. Elon Musk had been at Mar-a-Lago for weeks before the election. And you have people who crunch data who are saying, this doesn't make any sense. And then you came in and talk about you have this big mandate. So you start ravaging through the education department, the federal department. You put fucking RFK at the CDC, at the HHS. Fucking RFK. The dude is fucking nuts. He's fucking nuts. RFK and fucking Mel Gibson could pass for brothers. They're the same type of people. They're both fucking stupid. They were both going to Mar-a-Lago too anyways. And what about the fucking Democrats who are undermining Kamala Harris' campaign? They're the Democrats that were going to Mar-a-Lago. People like John Fetterman. Why the fuck were you there, bro? Why the fuck were you there? People look at the system that they show us and think that that's the way it works. No. They show you this. This is what they show you. When what you really need to see is this. It's deception. There's a lot of deception going on in our government right now, and there's a lot of looting in our government right now. How the fuck did we get Kash Patel as FBI director? This administration came in and they were talking about DEI. We're gonna get rid of DEI. They got rid of the woman who was in charge of the Navy and the black dude that was in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And people like Hegseth, Defense Secretary. What did you mean when you say DEI is messing shit up? Huh? What the fuck did you mean? What the fuck did you mean, bro? I think you've been losing your mind since you lost that election in 2020. And you've not gained your senses back since then. Because who's running this administration? It's that fucking little man, Stephen Miller. I can't wait to see his ass when this is all said and done. I don't think they plan to stay here in America. I think they plan to run to Argentina like Hitler did. That's why they bailed him out. Javier Milei, that $40 billion, he probably wasn't a fucking bailout. That money was probably US tax dollars that went to Argentina in a secret account for these guys. You heard Steve Bannon? He said a lot of them is gonna go to jail, including himself. He know what he's talking about. He know where a couple of the bodies are buried. Elon Musk, he knows too. We gonna see a mass exodus of people moving away from the GOP. Not too far from now, in the very near fucking future. You see, Marjorie Taylor Greene made her move. Say what you want about her, right? She egged him on. She was complicit. But I believe in forgiveness. And whether she's changed or not, I'm gonna believe her until I have a reason not to. I'm gonna say that she made the right move at the right time. Whether it's a calculated move or it's a change of heart, it's still good for us. I see Nancy Mace trying to make the same move as well. Oh, they gave her. You see, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she just, when she went on those media outlets, she was prepared to say that she was wrong. And she's sorry. Nancy Mace, not so much. Because that situation at the airport, she should have just admitted it. They chewed her ass like bone. But we'll still accept her too. Thomas Massey, good man. And not all Republicans are bad people. There were good Republicans back in the day. I was raised conservative. I was raised evangelical, Christian. That's how I was raised. In Jamaica, yes, we have those in Jamaica. That's church I came up in. I was on the choir. I was a choir boy. But what I'm seeing from modern day Christian got you questioning everything. And the merging of religion and politics, that should have never happened. That should have never happened. I think we haven't seen anything yet. Let's talk about the tariffs for a little bit. Because people think that things are tough right now and things are expensive. No, we haven't seen the full brute force of the tariffs as yet. Because a lot of these companies stocked up, they bought excess when they knew that the tariffs were going to be placed on the companies that they import their goods from. They stocked up so they could keep selling us for the same price or a little bit higher, because price gouging is a real thing. Things are running out now. We finally gonna see the higher prices. All right. People who depend on Obamacare, they've been trying to destroy it for years. The one good thing that people in their states depend on. Because most people on Obamacare are in red states, low income red states, most red states. Because if you separate the blue states from the red states, the red states would be a fourth world country. If you separate New York and California and some of those other blue states who subsidize these red states, and these red states, their leaders are the ones that are going after the safety net because they only care about themselves. They go to Washington, they get rich, their community get worse. And their communities, they still vote for them for 30 fucking years, 30, 40 fucking years. Got nothing. 2026 is coming up. I'm worried about this president putting the military out there to intimidate people. I think the military going into these blue states, it was a test run. He's gonna claim fraud. And remember how he wanted ballots to stop counting at a certain time? He gonna put military in there to stop the ballots from being counted. Create fucking chaos. We haven't seen anything just yet. I think that his goal is to destroy this country. And that's why Russia can do whatever the fuck they want, because he's a fucking asset. There's no, there was no fucking way he's not. And after what they caught the recording with Steve Witkoff telling them down here in Miami how to talk to him, how to approach him. In any other administration, he'll be fired. This administration, it's a couple second news. Right? They keep talking about how cheap our groceries are. Who the fuck are you telling that? Hmm? Who's going to the fucking grocery store? Hmm? You're talking about how much cheaper gas is. Am I not filling my tank up? Am I not filling my tank? Hmm? Do I not notice when I'm paying more for stuff? Yeah, but back in the day, I probably wouldn't notice, but now I do. You should have never elected this dude again. After what you saw on January 6th, he should have never been elected again. He's also having talks about um, designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Do you fucking understand what that fucking means? Do you know that the United States military is Antifa? Stands for anti-fascist. The United States military had been fighting fascism for decades, and you wanna designate an anti-fascist group a terrorist group. Make that make fucking sense to me. I'll wait. Make it make sense. This statement that came out of DOJ is also talking about designating people who disagree with the president as homegrown terrorists. Do, do you see what's going on here? Or do you not? Then the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is complicit. The Supreme Court is going along with everything that he does because the Supreme Court is bought and paid for by the Federalist Society. All right.
Just to clear up one of the many theories about you, I've no idea what the answer is, and you haven't got an answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women.
It's a crazy world that we're living in right now because the United States is not that strong anymore. And Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, they're all joined forces while this president is tearing down our allies. This president is trying to destroy NATO. That's why I say make that make fucking sense to me. How is it that he's not a fucking Russian agent Tell me, explain to me, how is our president not a fucking Russian agent? You're trying to destroy the economy of our allies, Canada, Europe. At the same time, you're trying to give Putin land in Ukraine that they haven't even conquered. You're telling Zelensky to give up land that he haven't lost. Make that make fucking sense to me. We're threatening. Well, we're not threatening anymore. We just seized an oil tanker for Venezuela in Caribbean waters. This is the reason why America kept the Caribbean poor for decades, because the Caribbean, one of the most beautiful places in the world, surrounding America, all around American borders, and America kept them poor using bullet tactics, so that moments like this, the Caribbean cannot respond. So you could kill people from Trinidad in fishing boats, and you could kill people from South America in fishing boats, and they can't do shit about it. But it's coming. The Russians and the Chinese, they're getting stronger. North Korea and this man in the White House. Oh no. Huh? What do you think? What do you think? Russian jets, Russian bombers, and Chinese fighter pilots were flying close by South Korean airspace and Japanese airspace to where they had to scramble jets. Chinese locked on to a Japanese aircraft. It could have been, there could have easily been an incident and World War III started, because when you lock onto a Japanese aircraft, they could have fired. And there goes the start of a war. They're testing South Asia because the United States, they're not doing anything. And we got 3 more years of this dude. And he's giving away our technology to the UAE. He's talking about he stopped 8 wars. Where the fuck did he stop those 8 wars? The UAE, they're funding a war in Sudan where thousands of people are getting killed. Rwanda and Congo, thousands of people are getting killed every day. They will care more about Ukraine more than they do in Russia. Well, the Chinese, they need to step in and do something in Sudan and Congo, and start up the Rwanda from committing that genocide against the people in Congo. The Chinese, they can do it. I don't know the Americans can do anymore. America got no power anymore. And US said that they had where they could put boots on the ground to get intelligence in certain countries while helping people. They don't have that anymore. Fucking dumbass Marco Rubio, they got rid of it right under him. The world is basically at war. Our president he got rid of climate change and green energy while we're putting up all these data centers here in America that rely on so much power, and he getting rid of green energy. In China, they're using wind to power their data centers. They're using windmills. Here, we trying to go to war with Venezuela to get their oil to power our data centers. But we also are using our freshwater system to cool our data centers. You know, I was asking myself the question, with this AI system coming and taking people's jobs, which you will, if you sit in front of a computer screen, AI got your job. They already got it. If you do any kind of customer service job, your job is gone. If you do any type of manufacturing, your job is gone. They'll need just a few people, human beings, because the AI have to continuously learn from humans. Your job is gone. If you're a doctor, a lot of your jobs are gone too. If you're a teacher, your jobs are gone. And I ask myself, so AI is gonna create all this stuff. Who's gonna pay for it? If everyone is out of a job, who's gonna pay for it? And I started thinking, they're not planning on us being here. We're gonna hear about another pandemic real soon. That's gonna wipe us out. That's why they removed all the wealth from the bottom. The middle class it ended, and take all the money through the pipeline to the top. Everything that they're building is to sustain themselves. Remember when we used to watch those movies with the people inside the wall with the big tech, and they send out their little crafts to hunt and kill people on the outside of the walls and stuff like that. There's no fiction anymore. Think about it. In Star Trek, you used to see electric vehicles, right? And robots. Isn't all those things a reality now? They got no plans for us. Larry Ellison, dude, and his son, dude own dude who own, what's the company? Forgot the company he owns, and the dude who owned Palantir, Oracle. Larry Ellison owned Oracle, and now he owns PBS and CBS because they're owning the media too. Because if they can control what you hear and what you see, then they can control what you say. So they 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 tell you that they're big on free speech while they're taking away your speech. I don't know if we have any time to stop what's coming or what's already here. If you're not scared, then you're not paying attention.